Hi, Sabrine here. Hope you all had an amazing weekend. Hope that your Monday is starting off strong. I hope that you've commanded your day and commanded your week, since this is the first day of the work week, and it's going to be a successful week. I just believe it. I feel it, and I hope you guys receive it. And so on today, we want to go ahead and get started with part 3 of breaking up with your past. And so if you have not had a chance, please make sure that you go and watch parts 1 and 2, for those are the foundation that we have been talking about and discussing for the last 2 weeks. And so those are the why you need to break up with your past. And today we're going to discuss how to actually break up with your past. And so before we get started, please make sure that you guys thumbs up, make sure that you share it, use the arrow to share it with someone else, and please make sure that you subscribe below. Also, if you get a chance, please leave me a comment, a question, and I'll be happy to address it for you. So again, please go back and watch part 1 and part 2 of breaking up with your past, because again, that's the foundation, the why you need to break up with your past. And today we're going to start with the how. So I'm going to give you guys 5 pointers within the next 5 weeks. I'm going to discuss them each every week. And so these are steps that me personally, I had to take when breaking up with my past and detaching myself from those things that held me bound from my past. And so today I want to start off with step 1. And step 1, in my opinion, is the hardest step out of the 5 steps that God had given me. And so step 1 is forgiving yourself. Yeah, forgiving yourself. That can be the most difficult thing for an individual to do. It's easy to forgive another and, go through that whole forgiveness process. But then when it comes to self, we are our biggest critic. We can be our biggest enemy. And so forgiving yourself has also got to be a process. So the first thing what I did when I had to forgive myself, I had to acknowledge my mistake out loud. And acknowledging that mistake out loud, I literally stood in front of the mirror and I said, Sabrine, I forgive you for, and I named the situation. And you all, when I tell you, I was in tears, because it is different when you can mumble it to somebody else, but to actually look yourself in the mirror and speak to yourself and tell yourself that you forgive you for whatever the situation was, can be a very emotional experience. But it can also be one of the most exuberant experiences that you will ever encounter, because you were able to release yourself from yourself. And so acknowledge the mistake out loud. Okay. Another thing I had to do, I had to acknowledge my role in this situation. A lot of times with going through that process of forgiving yourself, we fail to acknowledge our role in the situation. We played a part too in the situation. And when we fail to acknowledge our role in the situation, it is because we are trapped in a victim mentality. And this is what WebMD said a victim mentality was. It's whenever a person tends to recognize themselves as the victim of the negative situation because of the actions of others. And being trapped in that victim mentality can keep you bound and trapped in that situation. I remember on last week, if you remember, we talked about God not being able to give you the blessings of your current present if you are still holding on to the bars of your past. And that's the same thing with the victim mentality. It's a mental trap. It's a mental prison that a person holds himself in, always pointing the finger and the blame at everyone else. And yes, in some instance, you were actually the victim, the innocent victim. However, in other situations, you have placed yourself into those predicaments. You allow yourself to be pulled into those predicaments. You fell for the temptation. You allowed yourself to go back to that situation that you left before, and so you got trapped again, and you still wanted to blame everybody else for the situation and not realizing yourself was the one to be blamed from the get-go. Okay, you really do need to acknowledge your role in the situation. What part did you play in that situation? Who did you allow to pull you back to that negative space? Or who did you allow to keep you in that negative space? How did you allow someone else to captivate you to the point where they held you prisoner instead of you being able to have the strength and the courage enough to free yourself? And so please make sure that you acknowledge your role in the situation. Stop pointing the fingers and turn it back to you. Get in front of that mirror and acknowledge the fact that you were a part of that situation, your role in that situation. And the final things, the final process that I had to go through was acknowledging my feelings. You can't suppress those feelings. Those feelings are real. You need to allow it to surface and come up and let that and release them. Let it come up and release it. It's like, when you have an upset stomach and it's down there in you, you need to throw up in order for you to release those bile or whatever it is that is conjured up in your stomach, that food that you ate or whatever it may be. You need to release it. Same thing as it is in the natural, it's the same thing it is in the spirit. You need to acknowledge those feelings. You need to let it come up and you need to release it. And once that those feelings have been released, fill that space with God's word. Fill that space with God's love. Fill that space with worship. Fill that space with time of prayer. Get intimate with God. Become more close and more intimate with your relationship with God. Focus on your relationship with God and love on God as He loves on you. Relinquishing your source of pain is essential. That is what forgiving yourself does. You are literally relinquishing your source of pain. You are letting it go. Do not allow that pain to continue to have a hold on you. You know you have forgiven yourself when you literally can stand in front of the mirror and you can tell yourself, this is done. And the memory and the pain of what happened does not hurt anymore. It no longer stings. Okay? That's how you know that you have literally released yourself. Again, get in that mirror and say to yourself, Sabrina, I forgive you for whatever the situation is. Practice this today. Let me know how it goes. If you need more one-on-one time, we can talk. By all means, I'll be happy to discuss this process with you. But that forgiveness, you all, is so essential in every aspect of your life. Not just forgiving others, but learning how to forgive yourself, how to release yourself from the shame, how to release yourself from the guilt, how to release yourself from the prisoner of your past. Do not allow people to hold you prisoner. But most importantly, do not allow yourself to hold you prisoner to your past. Okay, and any situation, circumstance you may have gone through. I love you. I pray that this video had blessed you, and I hope that you all have a terrific day. Enjoy your day, enjoy your week, and leave me a comment below. Thank you.